that philosophy with the need for regulation and with the potential dangers of outsourcing or privatizing much of what our infrastructure was built around? How would you balance your pro-business outlook with the need to regulate it?
That's an excellent question. Kyle?
It's Mark.
Mark, yeah, that's an excellent question.
Particularly environmental regulation.
Very good. What I believe that is we need to have a sensible regulation. So I'm not against regulation. Regulation is perfect. We have to have sensible regulation. The District 61, the biggest concern that our district is facing is unemployment. We have a huge unemployment in our district. So I would like to bring the unemployment in my district as much as possible, as low as we can. So what I would like to offer was that targeted tax cut to the businesses so they can come and invest in our district. So that's what I mean when I'm pro-business. But I'm also very sensible regulation. We need to have regulation. People, the government is our side. Government it does a lot of things. That's why I said that I believe the mission of government, but I'm troubled by its failure. So what we need to do that is, and that's an excellent question, Mark, is how we can bring all the people in our districts together, and we can embrace businesses to come, so the people in my district will have jobs, and this will lower crimes. This will have a wide-ranging effects. That's what I mean now. Very excellent question. But I'm a sensible regulation, but I'm also pro-business. I want to make every effort that I can. I will be the legislator introducing bills after bills to make sure that businesses come out of district. The unemployment is the biggest concern in my district, and I hear that message loud and clear, and I will do something about it if I have the chance to be elected.
Thank you. Warner?
Yeah, I guess my question is, you know, Arab, you talked about tax cuts for small businesses, Somalis. Most of the businesses are either clothing or groceries. And as far as I know, you know, there's no business on those, there's no tax on those two items, at least the state tax. There's been a lot of talk about, you know, putting tax on clothing or groceries. Will any of you support that, that kind of a tax on either clothing or groceries? Because that would.
Let's start with Chris on that. All right.
Well, I think one of the things
These
that...
questions for everyone, correct? Okay.
And just to repeat your question, you're wondering if we're pro adding taxes to clothing sales or grocery sales that aren't currently taxed. For me, I think one of the great things about our state's tax code is the fact that we don't tax those items. And I've lived in states where there's no sales tax. And the incentive that you see is that people are more willing to make smaller purchases because it's not going to be impacted by that. Small grocers are, the average sale isn't going to be like what you see at Cub Foods or Rainbow, where people are spending $200–300 for groceries. They're going to come in with a $20 bill, get what they need for their meal that night, and I don't think we should be adding to that bill when all they're going to be buying is maybe a loaf of bread and some fruits and vegetables. So taxing that is unwise. Should we just go this way?
No, I don't support adding taxes for clothing or food. But what I would advocate, and I think it would be really helpful to look at whether or not we can have a checkoff on our income tax forms. People want to give money to the state of Minnesota, believe it or not. There's no way for them to do it. The upper 2% of the income earners in Minnesota, there are people who would like to be able to check a box off on their income tax and give more money to the state of Minnesota, and I think that would be one of the most innovative ways that we can raise revenue, but certainly not taxing clothing or food.
Thank you, that's a good question. I'd like to echo what Pauline said, that I would not advocate sales tax for food and clothing. That's unacceptable. But what I would advocate is high-end, sales tax for high-end, people who buy very expensive stores. For example, the last biennial budget, $34 billion that is still Minnesota spends every 2 years. We balanced the budget because we delayed school payments and the bonding deal from tobacco companies. That's not how you balance the budget. We have to, the state of Minnesota must learn to spend less and operate better. So we have to understand that efficiency, cutting bureaucracy, and making sure that the government delivers sales that the people decide. I will not advocate sales increase tax for that because it would hit the people who are lower income and middle class. If you increase the food, if you tax the food, the sales for food and clothing, so it will target lower income people and middle class, and it is something that I would definitely not going to do it. But I'm going to tax the higher income, especially higher end stores. Thank you.
One of the things that makes me proud of being a Minnesotan is that we are unique in a way that we do not tax basic needs. And I will continue to support that. I think clothing and shelter and food are basic needs. We don't need to add any more burden to the little that people have. I think, like what Sadiq said, there are other ways that we can raise taxes on high-end people who buy toys like boats and things like that. That's not basic, that's luxury items. So I think the basic needs is what we need to make sure that we protect it from being taxed, not only from the consumer, but also from the vendors.
So the really short answer is no. We need a progressive tax system. I voted 3 years in a row for a progressive tax system that taxed the high-end earners at the same percentage that most of you and I look at, and if we're even poor, we even get taxed more. There's also some very unique ideas that Representative Winchesky, who's the lead in the House on Taxes, and Representative Hornstein talked about. There's a lot of tax shelters. There's the ability for companies to hide their money offshore and not pay taxes on it. So there is kind of a whole host of progressive things that we can do to make sure that everybody pays their fair share, that corporations pay their fair share, that would get us the revenue in which we need. A misnomer that most people don't know is that we have cut. When Democrats were in the legislature, we cut. I look at Representative Clark when she was the chair, and we'd go through those deliberations when we were on the Housing and Public Health Committee, and we had to make really tough choices. So we have made the tough choices to make government more efficient. We have taxed our state workers absolutely to the max, but we also need to have progressive revenue and figure out how to stimulate this economy, and a lot of that happens at the federal level as well.
Thank you.
Well, I think first, I would absolutely not support raising, or adding a sales tax on food or clothing. That would disproportionately affect the poorest amongst us. Just an unconscionable idea, actually, to me. One thing that I find interesting that Jeff says, though, is cutting right now. I don't know. I think austerity movements in terms of economic depression or economic recession that we're having right now, I think really hurts our economy as a whole. And I do understand that you had a battle with a lot of people in order to accomplish what you guys did. But I think it's something that we really, a mindset we really have to move away from in this current economic climate we have right now.
Thank you. One last question. Is all of you willing to abide by the DFL endorsement? Or there will be people running in the primary, regardless of what the outcome is?
Is that the question?
Yes, that's the question. Is everybody, will everyone here be abide by the DFL endorsement?
No.
Okay. Well, that means we will have a primary on September 13th, and for those people that will be watching at YouTube or community TV, the general election will be October 18th as well. I wanted to thank the candidates and everybody who came. A matter of Steve, thank you. A matter of Skip, did they say opposed in the park? I'm sorry.
I think you ought to ask every candidate that question. I think each one of them ought to have an opportunity to respond to that.
Okay. Right. Right. So that's
The endorsement is on the 27th.
question answered.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
There was in the beginning, there was I said there was going to be a 1.5 minute for closing remarks for each candidate. So we're going to start with this. Where did we stop last question we asked before we went to the audience? I think we stopped at...
I think Kyle
yeah,
started.
I think we stopped at Kyle. So why don't we start with Representative